right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stiffen our veil so that when we pin it on our head, we have room in the front. And what's different about what I've done in past videos is I never use this clear stiffener that I have discovered leaves no film. When I say it dries clear, you don't even know it's there. You don't even know it's on there. And if you are in the business of selling your crafts, selling your, what you sew, what you seam, um, then it's important that it looks as though it could be in any of your department stores, or it could be a luxury brand. You don't want it to look like a craft project that your niece or nephew or your son or daughter did. You want it to look professional and you want it to look high level, right? So this is the stiffener, felt hat stiffener, that I have discovered really dries clear. All the other stiffeners, as I've shown, just do not stack up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put on some gloves. Ooh, y'all, I normally wear large, but these are small. But it's temporary. What we're about to do is probably going to take me all of 3 minutes. I'm using a bowl. I'm just going to put the camera down here on my subjects. And I'm using a paper bowl that I can just dispose of later. Make sure you crack a window because this felt stiffener is strong. I'm going to use one of my disposable brushes. Now, this is one thing I'll tell you about these disposable brushes. I got them, where did I get these brushes from? Ooh. Okay, if I remember, I will definitely put it in the comments. But disposable brushes don't have to be disposable. When they harden like this, all you have to use is deionized alcohol, and it will take all of this off. And you can let it air dry and use it again. Okay. And this is our veil block. It's wood. Now you don't need to use a veil block. If you make cakes, you can easily use, one of your cake holders, anything that's round, okay? Because we want the roundness to kind of emulate our face. And we're going to cover the entire thing as much as we can. And I'm going to use 2 tacks. Now, what's important about the tack you use, you don't want to put a bullet hole in this very, fine material. So I will not be using this tack. That's going to put too big of a hole. I'm going to be using this one. Okay. So I'm going to turn it around here. And we're just going to put a very small tack in there. One should hold. I'm hoping it does. But you know what? The real test is going to be once I start brushing on the stiffener. Will it be enough to hold? Okay, this one is so short it barely goes through all the material. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Let me do this again on this side. Because they're so shallow, the points, they do easily come out. I might have to put more than one here. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right. So we're going to come through and really just start from a point. It's going on like water, basically. And to be honest with you, it's so clear I can't see it. When I initially put it on, I see where it's really wet, but then as I spread it out, you can't see. So once I take off my gloves, I'm gonna tap everything and try to see if everything is saturated. But now I'm just being uniform with my coverage. I definitely want the top to be stiffened because that's the part that, you know, we want to stand up more so. It's really the top and the center where the face is going to be. So I'm just going to go in and reinforce those areas. And who knows, right? When they get it, they'll be like, okay, which is the top, which is the bottom? So I'm going to do both the top and the bottom because depending on where they decide, how they decide to put it on their head, I'm not going to be there to fit it on them. So we're just going to go through, there we go, and just put it, make sure both ends are saturated. You also want to make sure that your whatever you use is covered with plastic, even if you're using a plastic cake bin, because you don't want it to stick so much to your cake bin that now you have to rip it off and then you have holes or tears in your fabric. Okay. Yeah, I can see this one is giving me trouble, the pin, but it's okay because, oh, do we need to do two? I can feel through the glove, the wetness. Okay. Yeah. If I had to say how many tablespoons I put on here, I would say at least 4 tablespoons of the stiffener, if I had to measure. I poured it freehand, but if you're into measuring, because it spreads rather well. These tacks, boy, you know what, guys? No, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not, sometimes you just want to go ahead and put in the thick tack to keep it, but no. In the end, I feel like I would not be happy to do that. And I'm kind of pinning it at a slant. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is you can either let it air dry or you can use a hooded dryer. I'm going to use a hooded dryer because I have to mail this out tomorrow. The first time I put on the stiffener, I let it air dry. But yeah, this time I'm going to use a blow dryer. I'm not going to use it on hot, but I will use it on cool to a warm setting. I'm going to save you guys the time of having to hear that, but we'll be right back as soon as it's blow dried, okay? We're back. Okay, so this took, seconds to dry with a blow dryer. So the felt stiffener on this material literally takes seconds to dry. But drying this on a round mold, you see what it does? You almost create parachute. But if we're going to put this on our face, we are going to need to have that leverage, right? Because it's not going to stick. We don't want it to stick flat to our face. We actually want it to have a little room. You can kind of see to the side. And I always say that veils look best when your hair is pulled back in a bun. So I apologize, my hair is not back in a bun or anything like that. Put it behind the ears a little bit. Okay, stick in the pins. So you see when I stick in the pin, you see, and you can kind of play with this and bunch it up and do what you do with it. But look how much room I have when you look at my side profile. In fact, let me get in front of the white space here. You see? I have room. If I didn't take this extra step, it'd be fitting flat on my face, and I don't want that. I want some comfort. I want some breathing room. Now here's the thing. If they come into your shop, or if you're at a, festival, marketplace, and you sell it like this, fine. But what happens now when we have to pack it? Well, now that we have to pack it, this is what we're not going to do. We're not going to pack it in a flat envelope, because what's the use of giving it body and you flatten it? So we're going to pack it in a box, something that we're recycling this, something that we can keep its form to a degree. So I'm going to use some tissue paper, but first I'm going to just ball it up in there. Not too tight, just a little bit. Crinkle it up. So I'm going to ship it with it in its form. Yeah. So I used about 4 tissue papers. So you see here, we're shipping it in its form. And let's just lace the box so it's nice and pretty when they open it. Take off the pins. I'm glad they're red because you can't miss them. Okay, no pin on that side. Okay. It's up to you. You can cover the pins if you like, but I think it would be okay. And look, even in the box, I just have a little hump, a little bit of a hump. But even when they undo this, it's still going to have some form to it because I didn't flatten it. Yeah. And then I put a nice card in there, thanking them. Yeah. So one thing to keep in mind that I will say, right, is that this veil, you want to make sure this veil, I believe, don't quote me, let's say the veil is $50, right? Because it doesn't take that much time and that much material to do. If I'm packing it in a box, to pack it in a flat envelope might be $5 or $6, right? To pack it in a box might cost me 8 to 10 depending on where it's going in the US. So you want now your $50 veil now turns into a $60 veil because you want to add the shipping cost on there and make sure that you cover your shipping cost even if it's recycled, because you still got to go to the post office unless you arrange for pickups. But I go to the post office. And your tissue paper, right? That costs. So your shipping and your materials, just make sure you add them in your cost, just so that you're compensated and you're recouped for everything that you put into this, which is love and hard work. All right. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.